Ooh, we are live, and it's Monday.
Absolutely.
It's not a Thursday.
No,
So
it's not.
So I guess you know what they say: with every particular action comes a.
Figure reaction?
Bring it up, bring it, bring it, bring it up.
What's up, everybody? It's me, True Star Screamer, and with me is Mike from Junkie on Crafts and Builds.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday night, and thank you for joining us here.
Man, I'm starting to feel like we're feeling special here because look, Rollkeeper's first one's here too. This guy
Rollkeeper man, I'm telling you, he is around all these streams and all these channels, and I'm telling you, it's clockwork. So, and I met the man in person. He's a fantastic guy. So punctuality is on him. And again, McClowering, another favorite for the Figure Reaction and the Figure Action podcast. Welcome. So, Dave, what are we talking about tonight? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
We got a cool one here for you guys, folks. I mean, we've got, we had the people from Legendary. We've had Quentin Bedwell. We've had Sir Dork, and now the next to add to this awesome cast, we have the people from Brutal Realm Toys. If you guys have not checked out this Kickstarter, apparently this is going to be the year of sword and sorcery, badassness, testosterone, whatever you want to put it. And this is going to be a really cool line. I know Mike pointed out the Kickstarter to us on Figure Action, which if you're not watching that, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we try to, of course, showcase a lot of these Kickstarters. And when I saw this, I knew this was something different. And I think this was definitely worth everyone's attention. We caught this, and I said, Mike, I think we should talk to these guys. And Mike's like, David, have you been drinking again? I'm like, yes, but I still think we should have these guys on.
Yep.
And I am drinking again.
Excellent.
But don't worry, I'm following it up with water because, not that we have a paid sponsor or anything, because we're not actually paid for this, but I don't like hangovers. But enough about the rambling. Let us bring in the guests of honor. We've got both James Harkness and James Soul.
Jason Soul.
Jason Soul. Sorry.
He's got soul.
But
I guess so.
But he's not a soldier.
Oh.
You guys,
yes, he was.
I was a Marine.
He was a Marine.
Oh, never mind then.
He's the real deal.
But we don't call ourselves soldiers.
I was just pulling the song lyrics from.
No, you're good. You're good. Technically, we don't call it. Yeah, we call ourselves Marines.
Ah, yes. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah, we don't go by soldier. We don't go by trooper.
Well, so we have a Marine and a squid.
Are in denial.
All right.
Oh, who's a squid?
Oh, I am.
Oh, nice. Thank you for your service, sir.
12 years Navy.
Awesome.
Same to you, man.
Thank you.
So welcome on board to Figure Reaction tonight. How are you guys doing?
Great,
awesome.
great. We're happy to be here.
Good.
Very happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
We're happy to be part of.
We know you guys.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say we know you guys are starting to do the circuit here, and we appreciate you guys bringing yourselves down to us after being on some high tier shows. So we appreciate you very much.
Hey, everybody has to start somewhere, so don't even worry about it. We're happy to be here and happy to talk about ourselves. So that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Well, for people who caught our shows, you guys know how we do things. We try to keep a decent path going on of conversation. So let me pull up the infamous slideshow, because we've got ourselves here the evening with Brutal Realms. For anyone who's in the audience, if you have questions, absolutely chime in on the messages on there. We catch something cool, I'll absolutely be throwing it up for the guys. We try to keep not only us talking to them, but we want the audience to be in this as well, because that's the only way you guys are going to figure out why you should be investing with it, helping these guys out. Because I will say, you want to be helping these guys out. This is something with a lot of the fantasy out here. This is still something a step unto itself. I think is worth keeping the eyes on.
Thank you.
And we are not, just so you know, because I saw us here, we are not even going to talk about that. That's Thursday rant. I want to hear nothing about SDCC right now.
Don't worry, it'll be back up. Everybody, calm down.
Oh my God, I hope so.
It'll
Same
be
thing to my
back
wife
up.
the other night.
I hope so.
The factory can only make so many, and they've already sold out, and they have to wait for another time period so they can schedule the factory to make more. So don't worry, they'll make more.
Now, I did read that there's supposed to be another release of pre-orders tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Yep. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they just have to talk to the factory.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
that's it.
Well,
So,
that's Hasbro.
Let's get this. Let's
talk
go
about
ahead and
the
get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So let's go with the basic. Who are Realm Toys? You guys are two independent. You guys were two independent fans. I'm not sure. What if you guys have independently done projects with other, your own independent projects or collaborated with other companies. I know this is your first mutual collaboration.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, we're both
both
Instagram.
Job interview. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, we were both on Instagram, sharing pictures of stuff we were working on, and I think he started following me, and I started following him, and we started talking about the things we were working on, and started comparing notes on figures we were trying to make. I was trying to make this mouse figure at the time, and then I tried to make a 5POA figure, and I've always been trying to make some stop motion puppets. And he showed me how he was trying to make this dwarf, and I was like, really cool. And I'm looking for something in this type of realm. And I had this idea to make a barbarian figure that was bigger and buffer than anything we'd ever seen before. And I tried to think of who I would want to go in business with, and Jason was one of the first people I figured to talk to, because we both had the same design aesthetical desires. We both liked the same thing. So I reached out to him, and he was down for it from day one, A1. Jason has been my homeboy. So we have just been riding this roller coaster together of trying to make an action figure, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, and it's been quite an adventure. And here we are coming to the finish line, and we're hoping we can finish strong and bring these wonderful and barbaric action figures to a home near you, maybe your home.
Well said. Yep.
When did you guys actually start on this? I mean, how long has this been in the making?
Almost. It's going on 3 years.
Okay,
Really?
Shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was the beginning of what was that? 2021? 22?
Yeah. I think it was towards the end of 2021.
Yeah, it was. So, yeah. It's been we've lost track of it because it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
We thought we'd already have launched our Kickstarter long ago. We had these delusions of grandeur because we didn't understand how much work it takes, especially if things don't work out with a certain designer and here and there. And
we've learned a lot along the way.
A lot
with artists and designers and the time they want to contribute and the time they don't have to contribute, and if you have updates and if they're going back and forth, it's just a lot of it's a lot of stress on the artist.
Yeah, and when you should cut ties and find a different designer
and run. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Because we were new to the game, we thought that maybe, this is the only person that would work with us when we found a designer, and then when that didn't work out, we were just thankful for another designer, and then we found Penn, who, lucky enough to us, has been better than we could ever imagine. So we got really lucky, because it could have been a continuation of the issues we've had before with several designers, but Penn is godsend, for less of a better
He's our
word.
savior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We pray to the altar of Penn. Absolutely. And all our other artists that work with us. We work with a large group of artists, and we're happy to have every single one of them right now on our team, because every single one of them is phenomenal. And
Absolutely blessed. Yep.
So
Is Realm Toys like an LLC? Is it an actual?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
So Brutal Realm, singular, is this toy line, this barbaric action figure toy line. Realm Toys is the overall arching business, which we will probably, hopefully, launch other realms too. It's a play on it, so like a pirate realm or so on and so forth. So it allows us to have an idea that can branch out to all these other ideas while keeping it cohesive and
A true
coherent.
realm for collectors, pretty much.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
So
So in your 3 years with all this planning, what was like one of those things where, I guess it was one of those, as you're saying, learning processes and whatnot, was there something that really like struck you? You're like, holy crap, I didn't realize this is part of the whole deal, like getting ready for things? Or, I mean, was it like the production items? I know, like you just described, the ups and downs of finding those that are willing to sign up with you for designing. There's just so many different aspects. I'm always curious to hear how people's experiences are as they come around from this idea to actually having prototypes, actually releasing their figure line.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, one of the holy craps that immediately comes to my mind is so when you're designing a really cool figure, you have all these pieces that make it come together, right? You have all these joints. I mean, there's probably over 80 some pieces, maybe 80 some pieces. And when you talk to your product manager, David Vonner, or program manager, or whatever the title he goes by, and he talks to the factory, and the factory comes back and they tell us, like, here's how many molds you're going to have. And we're like, oh shit. So the more articulation that goes into your figure, the more molds you're going to have, the more money you're going to be spending. So each mold is like, it ranges between $4,000 to $6,000. And we're like, oh, you know what? We could probably I was thinking, and I was talking with James about this. Oh, we could probably put all the small parts on the same mold. They're all so small, but that's not the case.
Wow. Okay.
So I take it all of a sudden you have a little more understanding of why there's so many Bucky Cat molds in Marvel Legends.
absolutely.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and we have a better idea of why figures cost what they cost.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because we see the more that you sell, the cheaper the figure becomes from the factory. But it's in small little increments. So it has to be in the thousands, and then it only deducts by a little bit. But that little bit counts when you're selling thousands and thousands of figures, which is our whole hope, is that we sell a good amount. So the price that we have them at, it becomes feasible. One of the oh shit moments for me, was when we were getting everything designed and thinking that, okay, this is how it looks, so that must be how, when we go to the factory or to 3D print it, that's how it's going to look. But unfortunately, a lot of times, just because it looks a certain way, even in a 3D file, the mesh, there might be problems with the mesh, or the design isn't as detailed, because when it goes to the factory, details have to be punched up, because when it goes into the mold, the detail always decreases just slightly. So a lot of things that we thought were ready to go and looked good, when we send it to other designers to work on, they were like, oh, there's nothing I can do with this, and I have to redo it from scratch. So that was like a big oh shit moment. Like, our old body, we had to get completely redesigned, but it worked out for the best. So
like you're talking about Like if I was making a design, if I was designing a figure, and I was just wanting the muscles on the arm, I almost want them over exaggerated, for example, so that way the mold would be able to take it better.
Absolutely. You don't want subtle design, like just a little bit of a line in there. You want a deeper cut, because a little bit of detail always degrades in the mold. So you definitely want to punch everything up. So
Okay. So this is going to be a question for both of you, but I want to give it to Jason first. When you guys were putting together all these designs and plans, and obviously you're collectors as well, I can see behind you there, Jason. What was your primary, I guess, the primary vision of it, and for this line? Was it the aesthetic of it, the articulation? What is it as a collector you like the most, and how did you incorporate that into the design of Brutal Realm?
The very first thing that the vision of it, right? The very first I guess inception of this design is the way the figure looks, right? We're like, okay, yeah, barbarians, that's where we want to go, but how is he going to look? Like the physique. And that's James' baby right there. He loves the big brute. And you know, when he was like, you know what, the controller, the Build-A-Figure controller, I like that size a lot. And I'm like, yeah. And I had to get I didn't collect that wave at all from Marvel Legends, and I got them all and I put it all together and I saw control. I'm like, yeah, this is freaking awesome. This is badass. I'd love to have barbarians that are this big. So that was the main thing, is the size of the character and getting the size or the height.
Okay.
Getting that nailed down.
yeah, I was going a little too big in the beginning. If anyone has the Build-A-Figure controller, I was thinking like barbarians that big, just to like take it to the nth degree. But thankfully, over the course of design, we realized that you know, the proportions would look a lot better, and we would still be giving something that no one has delivered on, which is super buff barbarians with the body that we have now. So it all worked out for the best.
Okay. So it's to follow up with that, then I guess, you know, because for a lot of fans, and I'll highlight one of our co-hosts for the Figure Action podcast, T-Man978, who's in the chat. His primary focus for every figure is, how can I get him into the awesomest pose? The awesomest pose. The most cool, you know.
Yeah.
What he's looking for is like, how do we have this range of motion? How can we get this guy into different poses so that way you have this big buff barbarian that you're describing, but if he can't get his arm above here, or if he has a single jointed elbow, that really kind of, you know, limits what you want to do. So I like the idea that you guys are looking at that in regards to, like, we want these guys at a certain size and a certain width, you know, these bulky muscles and that,
but still able to move.
Yes, and that's what we'll see later on here when we highlight the articulation points.
Yeah,
you guys really took the input, you know, from your design team, and really brought us something that's pretty cool. So
yeah, so we're big fans of Mafx's The Dark Knight Returns, and we love the articulation of the shoulders.
Yes,
and we're like, you know what? If these guys are being barbarians, we want them to two-hand a freaking weapon, right? So he's got to be able to hold a weapon with two hands easily, over his head, in front of him, whatever. So we took direction from Mafx's, Metacom's shoulders,
and not this direction.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's good to sit on your shelf and not really play with. That's more of a looking piece. But you know, we want to be in people's hands, and we want them to pose them in all different kind of poses and actually play with them.
Yeah, stop motion animation. We don't want there to be any hindrances. We're creating figures for people that not only collect and put it in A stances on their shelf, but also those people, we want to give people the inspiration to pose their figures around more, not have any hindrances. So those people who it's hard for them to pose a figure that has less articulation. This has all the articulation, and it's fluid, and it's not, ratchety, and it's fun to play with. So hopefully they work on their abilities to pose and have fun with our figures, and just have a good time just putting it into poses that they've always wanted to have a figure in.
Cool. Well, hopefully as we go along here, you'll be able to show some of those prototypes that we've seen you kind of putting on Instagram and on your other channels and stuff. So great.
Sorry, I lost one. Dark Knight Returns hand. It's driving me crazy.
So let's actually talk about the brutal realm. You mentioned we have other ones, so let's talk about specifically the brutal realm.
Yeah. So brutal realm is just like this barbaric ancient history world where like all the fruits and fauna and flora help to make everything bigger. Think of almost like Avatar, not the anime one, but the movie, where everything, just because of it's almost like Eden, where everyone is bigger and buffer. The animals are, the plants are, the insects are. Everything's just a little bit bigger and able to achieve like the pinnacle of everything it could be,
So all the plants put out HGH.
Something like that. Yeah. Maybe not the plants, but yes, pretty much. Yeah. So everything's on steroids in this realm. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and because of that, you've got godlike beings everywhere. So. And we're having fun playing in that world. There's a lot of alchemy and magic and just strength throughout that permeates this world, and we're trying to tell some of the stories that happen because of that.
Okay.
And I know it's my third point here, but for telling these stories, I have to ask, is there going to be some kind of thing to tell it? Is it just the card backs, or are we actually going to have some kind of web comic, actual comic, audio drama?
Yeah, we'd love to do all of that, but first, we have to see how much the support is for the figures, and if our support grows, because a lot of times with a new line, people are hesitant. So if we just fund for the Kickstarter, that's cool. But then once people get these figures in their hands and it grows exponentially, and people want to know more about this world, and we actually do want to tell people more about this world, we'll definitely invest in, because we've already got some great artwork from Desar, whose whole style lends to almost like a comic book. Maybe there might be like with our designer Ken Coleman, which is the art you see on the slide there. Something where there's a picture of the character and then there's a little story, which is something kind of what we've done with Desar's artwork. So we might do it again with Ken's. So that could be like a cool little flip through book that eventually comes with our figures. So, and we love stop motion and we love animation. We love live action. So who knows where this can go.
Is there a story Bible somewhere written at least for this?
Yes, right in here.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, James, you mentioned a few times stop motion, like sounds like AI type of stuff. Are you kind of putting together some, I guess, examples of your desire? Are we going to be able to see stuff like that on the Instagram as we continue along here through the Kickstarter and its successful funding and as we go forth?
Not anytime soon. We have to get factory delivered figures that can hold up to stop motion animation, because 3D printed prototypes aren't, the ones that we've done are pretty sturdy, but they're not sturdy enough for stop motion animation, which requires very stiff joints because the movements are micromental. So hopefully in the future, we can do something like that and have some fun with it. Love to do stop motion animation with our figures, and so like Justin Rash, the stop motion animator who does it for Motu, and does some beautiful storytelling with their Origins figures and their Masterverse. Who knows, we might be able to do something like that with some stop motion animators that people follow now. It's something that we dream of doing in the future. So, yeah.
Okay, and setting the tone, I do that to complement the introductory video you have on your campaign page. Who's the narrator?
That is Jesse Falcon. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Jesse
Okay.
Falcon, the legendary, one of the forefathers of modern action figures, and one of the people that David Vonner worked with at Toy Biz. He's probably over all of Marvel Legends right now. I think he's part of the action figure part of Hasbro, and he oversees Marvel Legends and the Star Wars Black Series right now, I think. But he was nice enough. His brother has a recording studio, and he was nice enough to do a recording for us. And his voice work is absolutely incredible. So we were very, very happy to have him. And the proof is in the pudding. We had this horrible guy first doing the voiceovers, but thankfully we fired him, and we'll never hear his voice again, hopefully. And I'm talking about myself.
Well, he definitely set the tone for the line, and definitely brings a good initial voice to these series of figures. So bravo on that.
Yeah, we love it.
And that's wild that his brother has just a recording studio somewhere. I mean,
yeah, I think they do voiceover work. Jesse Falcon wants to be a voiceover, or does voiceover work, and his brother does it as well. And I think that's what Vonner said. Am I getting it wrong, Jason? Okay, we'll say that I'm getting it right. So,
well, Jason's muted. So.
Oh, is he? Anyway, so
Holy
yeah,
I feel like we're in 2020 again.
Oh, there we go.
Bill, you're muted.
There we go.
It's all good.
No, you're right, man. You're absolutely right.
So we've got the background. We know who the guys are. Let's talk about the meat of it all. Let's talk about the toy. You know, we're sitting here. We've mentioned David Vonner. This guy, these guys are not going. They're not half-assing it. Pardon my language here. We are working with one of the legends of the industry, with David Vonner with this. And I gotta ask how you guys were able to hook up with him too. I'm kind of curious about that.
He started sharing our stuff. Actually, I was hesitant because he's such a monumental, momentous figure. I was afraid that he wouldn't want to work with us because, we don't really have a following. We're just two schmucks who wanted to create some action figures. And thanks to Wade, our unparalleled universe, he was working with Vonner first, and so was Shartimus. And Vonner started sharing our action figures, what we were posting, and it made me realize, all right, stop being scared and reach out to the guy. And we did, and we started talking. And as soon as we started talking, we were sold. I think 5 minutes into talking Vonner, it was wow, this guy has such a vision for what we want to do. He can see past just these action figures because, we've talked about stop motion and comic books and animation, and he thinks even bigger than that. So, if this all goes well, who knows how far this is going to go. So.
And of course, you've got access to the factories. You've got access to, frankly, the good plastics. This is going to be something you guys, as you mentioned, this is going to be something that can be handled.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Speaking of handling, I saw you guys do have a prototype there.
Jason's got the best ones. He's the chief engineering officer.
I want to go if we can. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Please give us the spin around. Give us the full twist. Check out that axe is something else.
Yeah, there's so much detail that this crappy camera can't pick up. And I wish I could show you more. Maybe I can just hold it closer to the camera. See, there's the crow skull head right here.
Okay.
And his wing skeletal that stretches out to the axe blade. You can't. This camera sucks.
That looks It looks. We can see it. That is looking.
And the pommel is so detailed too. And then on the back, it's completely. It's not the same. It's different.
Okay. I'm just looking how this arm is moving as you're doing that. It is a very fluid, natural feel to it.
Yeah, check out the shoulder. I mean, in, out. You got up, down, forward. Like,
Dude, he could do like a across the neck slash.
yeah, so much,
Mhm.
so much movement. And I mean, and this, I mean, I 3D printed this. This is just a prototype, and it moves so well. And you know,
So
it was a little bit more stiff. That's what she said. But you know, I play with it a lot. That's what she said. So it becomes a lot. It becomes a lot looser over time.
No,
Now-
don't say it.
Now, I do like how the design for the chest really really looks so much better than what we see with a lot of figures now. I mean, because like sometimes either the chest is really blown out where you can't cross the arms at all, or it's like malformed where like the pecs are all kind of like pushed in and stuff. You have a really good proportional shape here with these figures. You know, it's you have the V, which is what I would expect to see from these large muscle bound warriors. I mean, this is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something we definitely tried to achieve. We're still tweaking the design just a little bit. The shoulders, we still want to tweak a little bit more, get more of a teardrop into the muscles instead of just a kind of a straight cut along it. And then the chest, we might shave a little bit and square up the pecs just a touch. But you know, we're very happy with the shoulders. We're definitely going to work on, and then there's a slight gap when the arms are next to the side, and we want to fill that just a little bit more with a wing, kind of like, you know, when Bruce Lee flexed and he had those amazing wings on the back there. We want to just bring it up a little bit more.
Yeah, right here.
So, yeah, we'll see.
So I guess that's a really good point that you brought up. There was the example that you said about, you know, flexing back, and I think I saw if you on the back of it, the nice cut for that butterfly. It really looks like you can expand out, and you know, he could, without using the coin phrase like the Hulk rage pour, the Hulk Hogan tearing his shirt off. I mean, that there is something that we don't see in a lot of these mainline toys right now, and that's something, again, like I was mentioning earlier about articulation and getting that story in a photo. That's what a lot of collectors, myself included, really want to see. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are some of those innovative. I mean, that's more than just a butterfly joint, because the fact of being able to extend and go back into it gives it not just the posability, but again fills it in there. We do have a question from T-Man about the neck joint itself. How is that done?
So there's a barbell between the head and the neck, and there's another barbell between the torso and the lower neck.
Okay.
So the neck articulates and the head articulates as well. Now the hair is printed on. I used Resi 1K plus, and I mixed it with F69 to try to create a flexible resin print, but it still came out really, really hard. So I can't. But from the factory, we're going to choose a soft PVC or a soft resin or soft plastic, so the hair will not actually hinder any kind of articulation with the head at all.
Okay, so that leads into another question I had: is what are we looking at here in regards to the quality of or the type of plastics you're going to be using? Is it an ABS and PVC combo?
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be both.
It'll be both.
Every part of it has a different plastic. Normally, the things that you want to have stiff, you know, friction with, joints and things of that nature, will be ABC, and then the softer things I think are PVC. So the factory already knows what should be what, and so does Vonner, and they'll be sending us factory prototypes, which are different than the 3D prototypes. It'll be made with the plastic that they intend on using, and then we'll get mold tests, and then it'll be a constant process to make sure that it's fun to play with, because we both have a great understanding, or we like to think we do, of what plastics should be what, in terms of, because we're both people that pose their action figures, so we know what pieces should be softer than others and what should be harder than others. So we'll make sure that we use only the right plastics for the right part.
Okay.
That is, I mean, this is just such a very cool insight of this one. Because I'm gonna say, when I first saw the project, I was definitely saying, okay, good, more big men. You're doing some stuff with large characters that are moving in ways they shouldn't be moving in all the most awesome ways.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would disagree with you on that if you watch Conan movie. He got in some decent poses, but yeah, we're trying. We're this is a fantasy world, so their muscles don't hinder them from having great flexibility, nor does physics or reality. So we're just gonna have fun and create a fantasy world that we've all wanted to see.
Well, like I collect. I mean, I collect of. I mean, I'm a huge collector of a lot of figures, and like for the is it Xerxes figures, they just did all those.
X-ray, yeah.
And those are big meaty men, and this is completely blowing that out of the water.
Wow, thank you.
That's what
those
I'm
are
saying.
good toys too.
Those are good toys, yeah.
They are good toys, but the thing is, I'm just saying, this engineering right here, people. If you guys have collected any of those figures, those Gladiator ones, you need to be seeing this. Someone send this link when the show is over to Articulated Ninja and have him watch this exact point right here.
That's funny you're saying that, because when we were like talking about the kind of plastics and the kind of the ankle joints and stuff, I broke out my X-ray Gladiator and was like showing the ankle and showing how you can take off the armor pieces. But one drawback, something that sets them back, is their single jointed elbows, which I'm like, oh my god, this would be like the perfect figure if it had double jointed elbows. And another thing that sets them kind of back is the type of plastic they use. I feel like it's gonna break in my hand if I try to work it a little, popping the feet off, because you can swap the feet. So
I think they fixed that in the future figures. I think they've gotten a lot better on the newer ones, because the stuff they're putting out right now looks amazing. Especially
I have the Minotaur. I have all three of the big ones. The LA Con exclusive.
That's what I have.
The red.
The big red rhino.
The big red rhino. Yeah, he's up there somewhere.
Dope.
Yeah, and the articulation, I mean, even they're single jointed, but that's okay, because I mean, it's still an awesome figure. They're using soft goods, they're using chains, and it's really, really freaking cool.
So I'm just saying, but if people are collecting figure like that,
we'll get to that, McLaren.
I guess he hasn't looked at our Kickstarter at all.
Don't worry, we'll be showcasing that as well.
Yes.
Remember, there's testosterone fruit there, and there's estrogen pods there. I don't know. Okay, but so we've been talking about, we've got the prototype here. We're doing a lot of removable armor. We mentioned here, and I've been talking about we talked about these Gladiator figures, guys. If you have not been to their site, if you have not been to there on Kickstarter, I mentioned here the fantastic pricing, gentlemen. All this one of these figures can be yours for just the fantastic price of, James?
The Barbarian Warriors are 30, and then our named characters like Cronin that you can see there are 36 on our Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, that is less than a NECA figure, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying with Mafex articulation and more than Mafex articulation. Actually, we have shin swivel and thigh swivel that they
thigh swivel. Have. Yeah, and then
we have 2 points of articulation that they do not have.
So this is really something that I'm not trying to sound like an infomercial here, but if you guys want to use my recording for an infomercial, you hit me up later. I do voiceovers. Seriously, this is probably one of the best valued Kickstarters I've seen out there. We've seen some really, I mean, this is, I can't stress enough. I know after this show, I'm dropping some bucks on here.
Thanks, you.
Thanks,
Well, I
man.
can't wait
Thank
to
you.
watch the Kickstarter go up when you do.
Well,
'Cause
I guess
we-
that's my question now. We're talking about the toys and stuff, but I got to get an attachment. So why don't we talk about who are these muscle-bound figures in Brutal Realm?
So one of the main characters, they're all main characters actually. So you want to think of it as we're just keying into one character at a time, but they're all the main character in this world in their own little story. So Ogun, the god of iron, which is based off of West African mythology, he controls iron, can forge iron to wonderful shapes, and it kind of listens to him and bends to his will as he forges it. His shield there is magical. It's got a sense of wisdom that he doesn't have, and is able to absorb energy and kind of use it back when it decides it's best to use, not when Ogun. So it does come in handy, though it might be a pain in the ass. Cronin in the center there is the future barbarian king, wielding his faithful axe and his sword of destiny, which lends him claim to his future as a barbarian king. And he's got a lot of trials and tribulations ahead of him, but it's going to make him to be the best king that he could possibly be. Crowman is the beguiled barbarian. He died on the battlefield, and 3 wicked witches used his body and his soul to kind of impart the demon of death, bring it to this realm, and they sought to control it, and unfortunately they lost their heads that day because that didn't work out the way they wanted to. And that crow that's emblazoned upon his chest was sacrificed to fly down into the void and get the demon of death. And in that struggle, it became a part of him. And then his axe has a thirst for blood on the battlefield, and it's separate from the demon of death that lives in him, but they work in unison to fell any foe that comes their way.
I'm catching a lot of cool influences on these. Some I think obviously I don't say are overt, but also some very fun subtle stuff on here. When I look at Ogun and his shield, it almost reminds me of Visionaries, of him not having control over his magic. Crowman actually pulling more of a spirit of vengeance, the crow specifically, you know. And having a bit of Elric, of having, because he had the sentient sword of Stormbringer. Okay, I'm a geek, guys. I am.
What's Elric? Who's Stormbringer? That sounds familiar. Stormbringer is Beta Ray Bill, right?
Not well.
There is a Stormbringer.
There is a Stormbringer in there, but he actually had a sentient sword called Swordbringer that thirsted on souls.
What is this from?
If Elric killed you, his sword ate your soul.
Who's Elric? What's that from?
Elric is Elric from it's the from Michael Moorcock, that's his real name, and Eternal Warrior series from the 1960s.
Oh, never even heard
Eternal
of that.
Warriors, yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
That sounds really cool. And I mean, if you think about like the
for you
crow,
guys later if you want.
yeah, definitely. I would like to. So for the crow, that's kind of another subtlety is Native Americans believe that when you die, the crow, the reason why they're around not just feasting on dead bodies, they also help bring and carry souls up to the heavens.
Now, when he swings his axe, does an awesome 90s soundtrack of metal play in the background?
Hell yeah.
He is very metal, isn't he? He is very metal. Yeah.
So for both you guys, the question I have, and this is something I was reading in regards to preparing for tonight, is some feedback that's been out there in the toy community is taking, as Dave said, some of the homages and influences that you have there, and some are asking, if it's a little too, like Icarus, too little too close to the sun in regards to like the influences. How would you counter that kind of question towards you in regards like, well, is this just another figure that looks identical to this other toy line that I've seen for decades? How do you phrase a response to them to allow them to be open to Brutal Realm?
Well, I mean, every character is inspired by another character. So you look at Darth Vader; he's inspired by samurai armor. You look at He-Man. He-Man is the direct result of a failed partnership with Conan. They were going to make Conan toys, and it didn't work out, and they turned it into He-Man. So He-Man wouldn't exist without Conan, and Cronin wouldn't exist without Thundar or Goldar or the son. What was that guy with the two swords? I forget. I think that was Ruby Spears. But I mean, there's so many barbarian influences, and they all come from source. And I wish I could come up with something a lot more unique. But we all can't are slaves to our upbringing and what inspired us, and these things come out. And sometimes when we Black Star, thank you, when we negotiate these inspirations inside of us, sometimes they come out looking a lot different, and sometimes you can still see the inspiration. So we're having fun. Hopefully people like the fun we're having with these characters that we're all inspired by. And we have a lot of other characters that are a little bit more unique, or seemingly more unique, because we haven't really seen them before, but they're all inspired by something. So hopefully people like it.
No, so that's a great response. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, well, you okay.
Yeah, and if they don't want anything inspired by anyone else, I mean, you got the barbarian warriors. You could get one of those and make your own character and have fun. These figures, everything is removable. So if you like the body, if you like the accessories, buy it and turn it into your own character. Swap some heads, have fun.
Absolutely. Yep.
Support us.
Yep.
So, what made you guys choose these three? I'll call them nationalities, but you get what I'm saying. You have the African barbarian, you have the Native American, then you have the Nordic Euro style.
Yeah, we wanted to offer something else for the Kickstarter instead of just the three main characters, and something that was a little bit more approachable. Even $36, we think is very approachable. We still wanted to get something out there that there was a price point that everyone felt comfortable with, and we think $30 is, and we already have these base colors for the main characters, so we wanted to give something, and hopefully we thought people would like this. So they're just generic, so you can create your own story, create your own character, do with them what you want. And we even included bare feet in case you wanted to strip them down even more and have fun. So hopefully people like it.
Okay, great.
And then we do have the accessory pack. And again, this is what, $5 for the accessory pack?
$5,
Yeah, we're not making any money off the accessory pack, but we wanted if people wanted to bump their base, the barbarian warriors up to have a few, more to them. We wanted to offer this that was already in the mold. So hopefully people like these as well. And it seems like it is a lot of our sales for the barbarian warriors. People are getting these as well. Yes, the loincloths do come off. You got to heat it up, the waist and pop. But they do come off. They're not attached.
Yep,
Well,
everything is removable.
There is a big factor right now with people making their own custom figures. I mean, if you go in the TB League, you can buy blank bodies. eToys sells blank bodies.
Nota Toys.
Nota Toys. I mean, even if you just go on eBay, people just buying, Mezco bodies right now. So just the fact that you're offering that, a lot of customizers, I feel, should really take advantage of getting a buff body like this. I mean, even if you take that and you want to spray paint it green and call him, you know, that's up to you though, what you color and who that character is making, of course. I'm not saying, but or even turning these into a wrestling figure, to be honest.
Exactly.
I mean, the posing on this, you can make somebody that's going to make Brock Lesnar look like freaking Seth Rollins compared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take the loincloth off and just paint the, you know, it looks like briefs underneath the loincloth. So, I mean, you can see it right here. That's what it looks like underneath the loincloth.
So I'm just saying, like, even if you're not a Barbarian fan per se, I think this line is offering a lot to various collectors, not even for the sword and sorcery fan, but these blank bodies I think are some fantastic custom fodder.
That's
I don't say raw fodder, but custom bases. Sorry,
right? Yeah,
custom bases.
No, it's fodder.
That's all part of the design.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then we start talking the tiers, and I'm going to say this: this is probably one of the coolest things that these guys are offering on here, because I don't think I've seen a lineup as diverse, except for maybe Mortal Kombat 3 in a way, maybe Killer Instinct, I guess. Like this again, another genre you could use these figures with. You take this, you toss these loose collector werewolves on here. You got yourself your own new fighting game unto itself, guys.
Yep, we thought about it. Definitely.
Yeah, so for all the people that you know, say maybe we're a little too you know, inspired by other things, I mean, we have a lot of uniqueness. This is our first time, you know, launching a toy line, so there was some hesitancy with our more unique characters. We thought maybe there would be a bigger desire for things that are reminiscent of other characters, so we threw those up first. And we're getting very good feedback on those characters. People are buying them more than Ogun. So, you know, there's a lot of people complaining, but then there's a lot of people buying the ones that are more inspired by other characters. So it's, you know, it's hard to read, you know, the community versus, you know, what people are saying versus what people are doing. So, so hopefully, you know, when we reach these other tiers or offer these other figures, we see even more love for them, and we can push more towards completely unique characters or characters that we've never seen before. Because a Native American is not unique. There's a lot of them, and we have even more Native American characters that we want to offer. So.
Well, can you guys give us a quick rundown of this character for your first tier, and like what are some of the things you definitely wanted to bring into the design?
Jason, you take this away since you're the only one of us that has Native American blood.
So we really wanted him to be and to look and the overall design to be really designed after a true Native American tribe, and this is taken inspiration from the Lakota tribe, Lakota Sioux, out west, out Midwest of the United States. And I mean, they're down from the headdress. The headdress is removable. One thing that we wanted to that we haven't seen anywhere was the Gunstock War Club. We've seen tomahawks before, but the Gunstock War Club, I mean, that is truly unique, and that's something that we really wanted to show off and have as a weapon for this guy. Chief Motto in Lakota means bear, so Chief Bear. Even the name is Lakotan Sioux language, and you know, he has war paint that's reminiscent of that tribe, and you know, his whole dress, the headdress, his chest guard, his waist, the loincloth, everything, his boots with tassels, leather tassels, his bicep bands, leather tassels on there, the whole aesthetic.
And I could just read to you the story that I wrote right there. Mato is a fearless warrior, judicious leader, and fervent friend. The Wakanayan tribe from which he hails is known for their reverence of the great Thunderbird. It is the Thunderbird who took Mato from his native land to this new foreign one for a reason he has yet to discover. Until he does, felling the hordes of Shadar, led by General Grimskull with his indomitable war club, brings accolades from the great Thunderbird witnessed in the sky. Hopefully, in his great journey, Mato makes friends with our other heroes as well and finds a way home.
Awesome. And then
Thank you.
this of the tier unlocks, I think this guy is, if not of the tiers, this is probably my favorite, tied maybe only with tier 6 personally.
Oh,
Which
wow.
we'll talk about the foreshadowing on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, the great Khan. I just wanted someone that scratched that love for Asian lore. And this is the character I came up with the Dragon's Fang sword. It's actually made from a Dragon's Fang, and think almost like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and how adept that sword is at fighting people. And then his Phoenix bow with the Phoenix arrows. Every time he knocks the string or pulls back, this Phoenix arrow manifests and then finds its target as though it were a living entity, and then it reappears or another one comes up from it, and it is limitless. So think of a skilled Mongolian archer on the battlefield with limitless arrows that have a mind of their own, and then he's got dragon skin cape, like short cape on his back there, which protects him as well, and dragon armor all around. So hopefully people like him as well. And his ponytail is on like a swivel, so there will be some articulation there. Yeah.
Yep.
Then we've got okay, never mind. I forgot. Owl King. Actually, I think I might like Owl King.
Yeah. Owl King's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I wanted to think of someone that was more Nordic, Viking, and I just seen that the North movie that was really cool with Skarsgård, and I love one of the characters in that. So I wanted to just draw inspiration from that Nordic helm, and since it has like an owl look to it, I just naturally took it to the nth degree and gave him owl feathers. And then where his shoulders are, that actually wraps around his shoulder, so it's independent of the chest part. So it will move with the articulation, so it won't get in the way. And he's got his Viking axes. He has 2 of them he comes with, and he has an articulated owl as well. And he's the Owl King. No one is cooler with owls than him, and no one he fights like a swift owl that can.
Who are you, man? I'm the Owl King.
Exactly. he might be part of a whole race of or tribe of people that worship the owl, and he is the main leader of them. So think of him in that term.
Now, before we move on, I might have missed the beginning part of this, and I apologize. I stepped away for a second. Is the owl a separate animal, and is it articulated?
It is. Okay. It'll come with 3 different feathers, or not 3 different feathers.
Wings.
2 different wings. Yes.
Okay.
One wing where it's just in on its side that you just plug in. Be very careful not to lose it. And then the articulated wings, which have a hinge at the side, and I think the other wings are bent. So it's actually 3 wings if you really want.
3 sets of wings. Yeah.
3 sets of wings. Yeah.
Now, will there be any other articulation points specifically that the neck, even if it's on a swivel, that'd be something really cool to see.
Yeah, I think we'll have to look into that. I don't know if we have that design yet, but yes, that is definitely something that we would want to do, is put the neck on, because it's an owl and they can turn their heads
right. A ball joint would be perfect for that.
Yeah. I hate when people do swivels when they could have easily done a ball joint. So
yeah. So
that's definitely something we'll probably do.
The geek in me has an interesting question.
Absolutely.
Have either of you guys ever seen the original Clash of the Titans movie?
Heck yes.
Harryhausen? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stop motion fiend, so
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
not that I'm going to tell you how to run your company per se, But if you ever made a Greek warrior, a clockwork owl would be a fantastic, or at least a clockwork, a brass owl might look kind of cool as a reuse of that mold, just to get your money's worth out of it. Just not that I'm telling you how to run your company, guys.
Please tell us. We love feedback. But yeah, we're already getting so much feedback to be more unique. So maybe we'll hold off on that a little bit. But that's definitely something that, I love that movie, Clash of the Titans. Harryhausen is the godfather of stop motion. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. I just definitely want to let you guys know I'm checking some stuff on my Instagram. I'm getting some messages. Everyone's really liking what they're hearing so far. So this is really, this is why I think Dave and I started Figure Reaction a little bit, and not to segue too much from what we're doing, but this way of communicating and having transparency with creative people with drive and the desire to create something new for themselves and for collectors like you guys. That's what really is a fun and engaging way to experience this collecting, and hearing that you're listening to the feedback that you're being given. Sometimes, and you were kind of saying it earlier, where you have to pick and choose what you're hearing. The fact that you are listening is really fantastic. So applaud you guys for that.
Yeah, if there's one thing as a toy collector we hate, it's like when you see how a toy company could make something better and they don't hear the cries of not that cries, but the feedback that most of the community is giving them that would actually make their toys better. But they're not listening for some strange reason. We don't want to be that company. So we're definitely listening, and we're definitely taking in feedback as well. We're changing things because of the feedback we've been given. So
also another thing I don't think I've mentioned on here, I don't think any of us actually have mentioned, but I think also because of the type of character this is, these guys will scale with anything, because they're they can either be these big brutal guys, or we mentioned like with the Minotaurs, they might be small, since they'll still be able to bring the fight to them. So again, the flexibility that these designs offer. I can put them next to a true 1/12 scale figure to dwarf over them, or puny, because we're from planet of.
Yeah, they're 6.75. So if you have Marvel Legends Hercules or G.I. Joe Classified Sergeant Slaughter, that's exactly their scale.
Yeah, in my chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
So we were going for that Marvel Legends scale of 1/12, not 1/12, true 1/12, which is smaller. But
they'll still work with true 1/12 because they're big ass warriors.
Because they're bigger guys. Yeah, definitely.
This guy's cool. And when I first heard about Jason, how you like to design dwarves, I was looking at his beard. I'm like, so there's the dwarf design.
Yeah, very close.
I never got that until recently. So someone did that as well, and I never saw the dwarf, because I'm thinking when the inspiration for this was actually Sumerian warriors, Gilgamesh. If you look at designs for Gilgamesh and characters of that time period, they had these type of beards, and so that was my inspiration for this, and that's what we took to create this character, Uruk the Sumerian. Uruk is the city that Gilgamesh created, and I thought, Gilgamesh is supposedly like 7-8 feet tall. I didn't want to do exactly Gilgamesh, but I wanted to do an homage to him, so I came up with Uruk.
Really cool. Yeah. So can you talk to, I know there's a bit of description here about the weapons. Can you talk about, how you guys select the type of armaments that each of these figures hold?
Yeah, I basically just try to find something that's, for that culture or associated with that culture, and, kind of put some fantasy elements to it. Scimitars are, very popular and very cool. And I don't think we have enough characters with badass scimitars. Scimitar is like one of the coolest weapons we've ever seen. Everyone's seen, a barbarian sword and long sword and katana, but there definitely aren't enough scimitars, and scimitars like that big. And I
Yeah.
wanted something real meaty. And then spears are actually the best weapon you could have. If you could have one solitary weapon, not many people know. Everyone thinks, you know, a katana or, you know, a two-handed sword, but a spear would be the best weapon you could possibly have against another weapon that is, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to give him a cool ass spear, and came up with this.
So why do you say that the spear is the best one? Can you give us?
Oh,
I was doing research on sword fighting that led into all this. You know, in movies, you always see the cool ass sword fight, but it's much more likely that ancient history that people had spears because they were more formidable. Actually, swords were for more close in combat.
Close combat. And spears, you can keep your distance. Spears, you can throw. They're so very versatile. I mean, there's so
and
many
use it as
things
a
you can
pole. You
do.
can use it as a staff for close combat anyway, both lethal
Yeah.
and non-lethal.
You can use it also for vaulting over, you know, brooks and streams and things like that.
Okay.
And you can plant the other end in the ground, right? And hold the spear, the tip up while your enemy rams or a horse rams you or freaking killing a mammoth. I don't know, whatever.
It's almost in some ways like a soldier and their shovel. They'll leave their gun behind, but they're not going to leave their shovel. The spear is almost the same way of the versatility of that because it works as close combat, long range.
Marines don't ever leave their guns behind.
Okay.
All right. So we have a couple more.
Then we've got the big General Grimskull. This is our big baddie. I think this guy is going to be. This is our ultra deluxe figure, if I recall, because we're going to get.
Because of the soft goods and all of his accessories, a lot of them are new, so it would take a lot more tooling, especially with the soft good cape that will have bendy wire in it as well.
I was going to ask that actually.
Yeah, it has to have bendy wire in it.
After handling that M Bison, everything has to have bendy wire.
Yeah, exactly, and along the edge too, not just on the sides. We want
Makes
it
a
to have.
difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
you can't just have it on the side. You got to have it. And if Jaded Toys can do it, hopefully we can too. But Jaded Toys is amazing. So, but yeah. So, and then his sword is going to be like a translucent red to really give that cool effect. I don't know where I got the inspiration for this character or his weapons.
Obviously it was Surge Transformers.
Yeah, there you go. And the reason why he's a further tier is because he's a premium figure, because it's going to take different tooling with the cloth goods and with the additional accessories that figures before him don't have. So we had to put him further down so we could afford to make him. So that's why. I have no idea what that. Megator? Is that Transformers?
Like Megatron?
Yeah, he's
okay.
We're together.
Okay.
So
we're running the gag of who you're getting it from.
I see.
I know, it's the wrestler Vader.
So with coming together with the design of that guy, like what is something like what really brings the cruelty into his backlog or his backstory? I mean, obviously when you're trying to think of, when you're thinking of this world building, there's some times like the protagonist comes back, but he's really not that bad. He's got a mission behind it. Is that the case with General Grimstar, or is he just really like a vindictive asshole?
He's definitely. Well, let's talk about the story. So when he took on the Dark Helm, which is the helmet that he wears, it essentially created General Grimskull. So the helm itself, it has abilities and possesses the wearer, but the wearer has to be willing, almost like Dr. Fate's helmet. So he is willing to take on this power, this dark power, and bend it. And he actually works for another big baddie who's we have yet to talk about, but someone will hopefully get to later on down the road. So think of him as like, you know, the lord of a certain realm, and then there's an emperor above him.
Okay.
So, or another big baddie. There's always big baddies in the realm. They seem to just keep popping up no matter how many you kill. Yeah, and he controls the Shadar, and he sees the power that is within the realm, and he wants to take it and use it. And so the only people that can stop him are the heroes that we have offered. And so hopefully they can, if they work together and learn how to work together to defeat this great evil.
Okay. So you mentioned the Shadar. That's every general needs an army? Is that what we're looking at here for the next year?
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yep.
And I wish you could show the new artwork that we just got. I don't know if you can pop up the Kickstarter and show
Sure.
the
Give me
Shadar.
give me 1 second here. I'll pop that up here real
Yeah.
quick.
So we just got new art from our artists, our package artist, Ken Coleman of the Shadar, and I think it does a great job of showing.
Oh, oops, sorry. I must have just pledged. I apologize. That's
Oh, wow,
embarrassing
thank
leaving that
you,
up there. I'm
David.
sorry about that.
We appreciate that. Hey,
Sorry.
well, that is awesome. Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you so much, David.
Every little bit counts. And that is a great
Awesome job,
amount.
Dave.
We appreciate that. So yeah, and
Round toys.
yeah, I think there it is. And then you just scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way. Yep. And yeah, so the Shadar is this dark force that comes out of the shadows of our heroes. It's all the way down. And they are able to take on the kind of power. And,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're able to kind of mirror the abilities and powers of our heroes just slightly, but bad enough to be a huge problem. And so, yeah, they're unstoppable force. But thank goodness we have unstoppable heroes.
And I love this. I love this picture right here.
Yeah, Ken's art is amazing. I love it. We've gotten more art for General Grimskull coming soon, hopefully. So hopefully
awesome.
you like that too. Yeah.
We'll go back. And then of course we have Athena.
Athena, the warrior goddess. Now, Athena is a Greek goddess. We have to, if we're going to have a female baddie in this world, Athena, the goddess of war in Greek mythology, I couldn't think of anyone better than her. And I'm really obsessed with Greek mythology, and we don't really have a character to represent Greek mythology, and it's such a well-known thing. We thought she would be a great offering, so hopefully people love our design. And if you were to go back to the Kickstarter, you could see the render that we have, and then we put the 2D art on top of that.
I'll be going back to that. Don't worry.
So I guess that kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Jason, about trying to find that right balance between sculpt and flexibility, because one of the things I think everyone's seen with like specifically female figures, long hair kills.
And by the way, that is not a monster that you're all hearing. That's Jason's pit bull. I think it is.
Oh, my French bulldogs. Okay. Oh my God, are they really that? Can you hear them?
No, no one can hear them. No one can hear them.
They sound French Canadian. Being was kind of arrogant about it.
They are French Canadian. Actually,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No.
No, yeah, the balance between the articulation and the movability with having a bigger figure, especially a female figure, she's got to move just as well as the males do, as the men do. So yeah, she's going to have the same type of articulation.
We're pretty much certain it's going to be 32 points, pretty much the same as the males. I don't see where we would cut any articulation from her. As we do with the males. So that is the 3D render of the silhouette of the body that we have there. We're still working on subtle things like the shoulders we might slim a little bit and the waist a little bit more. But that's pretty much the frame, and then we're cutting articulation into it. Now we just are focusing on renders for our figures.
That helmet is badass, by the way. I like the hinged helmet.
Yeah.
I know people are going to be at, I know we're not there yet, but people are going to want a Spartan eventually.
Absolutely.
So that's my question as well, because now you said with the male bucks, everything's removable. Are we going to see an accessory pack for her to go along with this when she unlocks?
Yeah. What's going to happen is once she unlocks the next tier, we actually have a tier past her, which are the female barbarian warriors. So we're using the same body, and there's going to be an African female warrior, a Asian female warrior, and a Native American female warrior. And using the accessories that Athena has, we're going to offer them in a different color as an accessory pack.
Okay.
So not everything, because the helmet is attached to her head.
That's what I was going to ask.
But the visor does come down.
Okay.
So, but her bracers, her greaves, and her skirt and her breastplate are going to be able to be used for the female warriors.
Badass.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll do it in the spear as well, and we'll do an accessory pack with that stuff.
So something I just popped in my head as we were going through. How are the accessories going to be attached? Is it going to be mushroom pegs, or is there another engineering design you guys are trying to put into place? Or
Jason, you answer that one.
So for the accessories, meaning like, how do you take the breastplate off and how does it stay on?
Right.
Well, we're still working out the how the straps, like you can see Cronin's chest strap, his harness, how that would be removable, because I mean, it'd have to be a really flexible resin or material to like slip it past his his big lats and over his arms. So that's, we're thinking about that, but then we're also, there's other ways that these other harnesses, like General Grimskull's, his shoulder pads, his chest harness, I mean, it goes down and it has to connect. So it's going to be very difficult to take that off. So we're going to incorporate in the design, like maybe a spike would be the disguise of the strap peg, where you can unpeg it and take it off that way. So any other figure with the chest harness will have that, but the gauntlets, like you just pop the hand off and the gauntlet slides off. The greaves, you pop the foot off, the greaves slide off. For the belts, the loincloths, you heat up the abdomen and the pelvis area, and you pop that off, and you'll just take those off.
Okay. So one other question here again, and I don't know if I'm channeling again T-Man's thought process, but one of the things that kind of is a frustrating point for collecting is you get these accessories for these heroes, these villains. Is there going to be weapon storage on the figure for the weapons?
We already have designed for Cronin on the back of his harness for his sword and axe. There's a loop that pegs in here, and they'll be able to. So the characters that have things like this, we're thinking of putting a place for weapon storage to be, but like Cronin, he just holds his axe, so there's not going to be weapon storage for characters like that. A lot of the ones that don't have additional accessories, or like Ogun, he just carries his shield and his sword, so there's not going to be weapon storage there. But down the line, we might do some additional accessories for them to hold on. But right now, no, because they're just holding their weapons. They don't have too many accessories, so hopefully that won't be a problem now. But in the future, we definitely keep it in mind. We've designed it for Cronin to hold his sword or his axe on the back, and for characters where it makes sense, we're going to have them.
Okay, yeah, because something I was thinking of as you were showing some of the prototypes, especially Ogun with his shield and stuff, if there was like a clip or something that would hold, like the spear, if the spear would attach to the inside of the shield for storage.
Ogun doesn't have a spear.
Correct. I meant I don't know if it was one of the army builders or the gentleman that you were talking about, Ulrich.
Marion.
Oh, Europe.
Europe, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that for Europe, but that's definitely an idea. Maybe we'll do a little loop for the scimitar, but the spear, I don't know if it would make sense for him to hold it on his back, but
Okay.
maybe a loop for the scimitar. We'll see. That's a good idea. That's a good point. That's a valid point. Thank you.
So I guess questions right now is, of course, let's, the pipe dreams of it all. How far will this go? I mean, right now, this year right now has been an absolute golden age for independent figures. This year and last year, Savage Crucible, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I mean, you guys are definitely striking when the iron's hot right now.
It might be a little too hot, but yeah,
but I mean,
we're definitely striking.
Yeah, also your figures here will work well with these that I've mentioned right now. Of course, Mythic Legions and such. This is going to, which groups like these, I think, Unparalleled, he mentioned to you guys, the groups like the Cabal. We mentioned, you guys with 3POA. Everyone's looking for that figure that's made for us, the 35 plus collector, or 45
Absolutely.
plus in my case. But
Yeah.
In my case too.
but we're loving these things, and that's why these. And so, I mean, we mentioned, the future. You mentioned you have the brutal realm in your own head, at least right now. Do we have other realms, like a possible science fiction or other areas like pirates, even modern areas, things like that? Just even if your own head, the pipe dreams per se. How far do you think you can take this?
We have every conceivable realm you could think of. We have too many realms in our head. So once this gets funded, hopefully we'll be able to move on to other realms and intersperse. When you get your fix for a brutal realm, we'll hit you off with another realm and just not kill you every month or so, but have something to keep you interested, especially if you like what we're doing, for the price point, for the articulation, for the detail, for the character building and the world building. We're hoping to introduce other realms. We hope that the other ideas that we have, science fiction per se, dark, hero, robo realms, people are interested in. And we see the same amount of support, if not more, for these other ideas that we have. So it's up to the community, based on how we get the support for this, and definitely support for other ideas we have in the future. So absolutely, we have everything in mind. Jason and I can't stop thinking and sharing ideas with each other of this huge multi-verse realm that we want to create.
And then, because we know you guys are in the podcast scene, which is awesome. We again appreciate you being here. Are you guys? How else are you guys gonna be taking things on the road? Are you gonna be hitting some of the conventions? I know it's a damn shame there's no PowerCon this year, but
yeah, that's where we were planning on premiering our toy line last year at PowerCon. We thought we would, before we had to redo a whole new body. We thought we might be ready for PowerCon last year because that was our big, that was going to be it. But we are, Jason can tell you where we're going to our first convention appearance, official first convention, because I was at Joe Fest walking around with Cronin, our figure, and Jason Benevue from AWalk played with it, Rob from Savage Crucible, and a whole bunch of other people got a look at it. And hopefully,
awesome.
Our first con will be Joe Lanta, and that is the end of September, the last weekend of September.
Excellent.
We have requested to be on a wait list for Legions Con because they're all sold out. But I think we might end up being there anyway, whether we have a table or not. I mean, it's right down the street from me. Well, right up the street from me.
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely want to shake your hands then, because I'll be there at Legions Con.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
trying.
Yeah, if anybody knows anyone that we might be able to share table space with, we would love to do so. So
Okay.
yeah, we'd love to have some sort of showing there, and hopefully next year we'll have a more official showing. But at Joe Lanta, we're gonna have our first official showing and have banners and prototypes available and posters and artwork and you can smell my hot breath and funky farts and yeah, we'll talk all about toys.
Are you
Awesome.
guys? And what other influencers have you guys sent figures to? Who
So
can we
D Amazing, we've sent
Yes.
him. I don't know if you guys saw his review.
Yes.
Pixel Dan, Robo Don't Know, Wade.
Wade
from
has them
Unparalleled
right.
Universe. He has them right. Yep.
Yeah, he has them right now. We're hopefully waiting on a review from him. So, and then from there, we still have some others on the list to send it to. Hopefully, soon we can send painted prototypes to some people and really give the community a better idea, other than the renders that we show, what these figures can do and look like.
Okay.
just a late question, and we got
Yep.
from Roland Rage here. I was about to hit that one on there.
What type of plastics will the figures be comparable to, like domestic or import? We supposedly the type of feel is great with the factory that we're using. They did Odious, Unparalleled Universe's Odious figure, and even though ours is a different style, supposedly the people that have gotten Odious in hand, they love the feeling of it. So hopefully it'll be like a domestic feeling to it, like just fun to play with and hold and articulate. So that's what we're going for: ABS and PVC, and just that kind of like fun in your hand. Like M Bison is just awesome to just mess around with. So
Cool.
And this is a very important question. I think it's definitely important to find out from you guys, gentlemen. What is best in life?
That's a rhetorical question, isn't it? I mean, come on.
If I can remember the line correctly,
There we go.
To have your enemies run from you, and then the lamentation of the women, something like that.
Yeah,
that is what's
Crush one's enemies.
the Conan line. Yeah,
You hear the lamentations of their women.
Women, yeah.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I'm a big Conan fan, and not many people know that's not Conan in Red Sonja. It's I forget the character's name, but they didn't have the rights to Conan, so he had to go by a different name. Yeah. See the driven for you to hear the lamentation of the women. Yeah. I'll do my best, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So we're going back here to the Kickstarter, guys. We've got 24 days to go. We've got $44,000 down.
And our big bad toy store numbers haven't been added yet. So
and that was are you going to be working with any other e-tailers with that?
The other e-tailers that we worked with, they're waiting for, as far as I know, they're waiting for us to be funded because they charge on the spot. Unlike Big Bad Toy Store, which won't be charging you, anyone who orders off of Big Bad Toy Store will not be charged until we literally deliver the figures to Big Bad Toy Store. And once they get them in their inventory, that is when they'll still only charge you when you're ready to ship your pile of loot. So you guys can go ham on Big Bad Toy Store. We do get a better cut off of Kickstarter, but Big Bad Toy Store is a little bit more in price, but because their shipping rate, hopefully it all evens out. Hopefully when we add our Big Bad Toy Store numbers, which we don't know where they're at yet, but from all the feedback we've gotten of people saying they've ordered from Big Bad Toy Store, we feel really good about those numbers. And as every day goes by, it'll only grow. So everyone support like we're already funded, please.
Well, that's a big thing, yes. But basically, we've got a lot of resources to go to. I mean, I personally, again, for the same reason what you just mentioned, that's why I like to go directly to the Kickstarter, just because it's one less factor for you guys, for the parent company.
Yeah.
So,
Yep,
Usually,
appreciate
if you
that.
guys have not checked out this Kickstarter page, you know, Brutal Realm, you just type in Brutal Realm Kickstarter, it'll take you right to it. I know I've showcased some of the slides here, but these pictures are absolutely gorgeous to look at on your own screen. Especially, like, this is why I'm in love with the Crow figure right here, the Crowman figure. This alternate head here is just, well, brutal. Perfect. I love it. So, and then you see how the prototype is here. Like, again, this is literally, this picture right here, I have to say, is what sold me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jason
Thank you.
took that picture and he posed it and he printed it. Jason is killing it with showing people how awesome our figures look.
And then
Thanks,
I
man.
just I got the European. I did get the
The Yimbarian.
Yeah.
That's the Yimbarian. It looks just like Yimbo reviews everything. I don't know if you know who that influencer is, but
Oh, not familiar with that now.
yeah, look up Yimbo reviews everything. He's a good kid. We were on his show yesterday, so.
But I mean, again, look at how the spear is here, and that's also the reason why. So, guys, these aren't our parents' toys. Man, I have to throw this one here from this post. These pictures here will absolutely sell you on so many things. As you can tell, I am enamored with it, and you guys know I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
Thank you.
I think any of you guys who are catching this show live, anybody who's catching it on the replay, it's worth your time to check this out.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. We really appreciate that. Hopefully, everyone
time.
feels
I try to keep I try to keep these guys on the 90s. So, oh, Mike, sorry, if you want to say anything.
One final thing is you guys are looking at, when the funding happens here at the end of this campaign, you're looking for a summer 25 release, right?
Yeah,
That's
we
what we're
wanted
shooting
to.
for.
Yeah, no more than a year away. Hopefully, we can ship sooner than that. But we felt confident when we talked to David Vonner about when we'd be able to move forward, and a year is definitely within that time frame. So,
Okay.
But we don't want people to be too impatient. Before you know it, you'll have them in your hands, and we'll already have more figures on the way for you. So.
Yeah, and that's something, again, as Dave mentioned at the beginning of the show, we had Marco and Jeremy from Meta Travelers on here, and I keep in communication with those guys, and they're looking at this fall for Wave 1, and they're like, we can't even describe how fast things have progressed. It seems like like you're saying, a year is, people are like, oh my gosh, it's a year away, but time.
Yeah.
Time
goes by like that. Especially we're heading into the fall season and Christmas. That 6 months will be gone before you know it, and then you'll have these figures being told that they're going to be shipped soon. And
I can't believe Meta Travelers is already shipping in fall.
Yeah.
I support a lot of the indie action figure designers and makers like Savage Crucible and Spiro Toys and Meta Travelers. So and I can't believe they're already going to be shipping in the fall. That is just crazy.
That's their hope is they projected October of this year. So one thing I forgot to ask you guys, for the painting, do you have a designer already picked out? And if so, if I missed that person, I apologize for that. But
that's my fault. Yeah, that's my fault. I haven't listed all the people that we're working with because I talk about them so much on the Instagram and on YouTube that I haven't put that on the Kickstarter like I should. I just mentioned David Vonner, but thank you, Roland. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome. You're getting brutal. But Nico Hodge, who did our original prototype painting for all of our figures, he's already starting to work on the new ones, and you can see what he did on the old body.
Oh, dang.
He works for Gentle Giant. He does what Jason has done for us with the prototype printing. He does that for Gentle Giant, and you can see the detail. That's our paint master, and that's what we'll be sending to the factory. and so hopefully people are excited for that level of detail.
And his helmet is removable, and that's done on our 1.0 body.
Yeah, that's the old body, so don't look too far deep into it.
So you said earlier then
colors?
you had to do a little redesign. So what changes are we looking at here in regards from your 1.0?
The shoulders
Okay.
mostly. If you look at the 1.0 shoulder versus all the figures that we have up now, you can see they just weren't working like we wanted them to. And then the knees we weren't happy with either. They're just a little too gangly looking. So we had our newest designer design beautiful knees and shoulders. And as you can see, the difference is just night and day from what we had versus what we have. Let's see if I can do them both.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's just more functional as well. There's greater range. It's more fluid looking. And we're just happy with, we just weren't happy. We had everything done and ready to go for the 1.0 body. And then, when we started looking at the prototype in greater detail, we realized that we needed to fix some things. And that's why our Kickstarter is a little, not as fluid as it should be, because we had to redo everything. And so we're playing catch up, but we needed to launch now in order to be able to deliver by the date that we wanted to. And we were hoping that the community supports us, even though we might not have everything as finished as we would like it to be. And we were hoping that the community has faith in us by what we've shown, that we will deliver and give them a dope ass action figure. So yeah,
That's the most important thing right there.
so,
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh yeah,
Not just a dope figure. We
Thank
don't want
you.
an ass figure. We want a dope ass figure.
absolutely.
Hell yes.
That's what we should call ourselves.
So say we all.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you again so much. Guys, check out Brutal Realms on Instagram. Check out Brutal Realms. Mention the Kickstarter, Big Bad Toy Store. We've got a lot of this. Is you guys get, if you guys are gonna be here, you could be that hipster who says I was there before. You're
Absolutely.
get that card right there. Again, there's just so much potential. If you know people who are into wrestling figures, they should check this out. This has a lot of crossover potential. Customizers, please get the word out for these guys. We appreciate you guys for watching our show. Please, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we never know when we're gonna get another cool reaction like this. Because, dude, guys, this is been a badass show, and I
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Brutal
man.
show.
so much.
It's been brutal.
Yeah, brutal show. Let's get brutal.
And we
Tagline.
definitely want to open the invite to have you guys back when you are
Thank you.
giving us updates on this first wave, because you're going to get funded. It's going to be crazy fun to watch the progress as we go along here.
So you can remember us.
Absolutely.
We're there.
Yes, absolutely. we appreciate everyone that's given us the time to talk about our toy line. This is something that we put a lot of our own time, energy, money, and love, most of all, and brutality into this toy line. So we can't wait to deliver. And Jason, you have the final words. You're better at speaking than I am.
My brooded logs agree.
Yes. Brutal beast.
But on
The
that
brutal
note, guys,
beast.
brutal beast. Guys, thank you so much for catching on to the show. Those of you catching on the replay squad, thank you so much. Everyone who's commented live on the show, thank you. And of course, as always, until next time, take care. Peace.
See you.